What's up, YouTube? This is Brian back again with a quick video, and it is the start of the 2020 bass fishing season. Minnesota opener is still a few weeks away, but the lakes are open, so we're getting out fishing. So I've started to prep and get my tackle ready for the new season coming up. And today's video is called "What's in the Box?" So I'm going to go through all the tackle boxes that I've organized that are going to go into my boat to start the fishing season in 2020. Now, my boat is an older boat. You can go into the history of my videos and see my Skeeter, but I don't have a ton of room in my boat. I can't pull around like an entire Volkswagen worth of tackle like with a lot of the more current boats. Mine's like a 2002. So I have to like basically, out of all my tackle that I have, and I have more than what's in these boxes, of course, but I had to kind of whittle down and figure out what I want to bring out, what's my favorite stuff, what I want to try, what are some of my like go-tos. So this is what I'm starting the season with, and as the season goes, I change and move things out and resupply the boxes with other things. But this is my stuff as of today, so let's go through it. As you can see, I'm running all Plano Edge boxes. I switched over to them this year. Really impressed. I'm going to give them a really good go this season, see how they work out. So this box I've already done in a different video. This is going to be all of my terminal tackle. So all of my hooks are in here. I have a video that goes over how I organize and store this box. If you want to check it out, you can click up in the corner to check that video out. So I'm going to skip past that one. I've also picked up one of these Groove Big Jig boxes for all of my swim bait heads. Now, I love swim baits. I throw a lot of swim baits, especially for smallmouth and walleye. So here's all my swim bait heads in this Groove box. It's got a magnetic seal. Really great box. I also did a review on this box. If you want to check it out, go into my channel history. So I'm not going to spend any more time on that. Let's go into the goods. So as you can see, I've got my boxes labeled. Give you a quick look. Chatterbaits, swim jigs, topwater, frogs, jerkbaits, megabass cranks, sleepers, ploppers, and shallow cranks. Okay, chatterbaits. First off, I roll with all jackhammers nowadays. These two rows are 3/8. These two rows are half ounce. So I just basically go between 3/8 and half ounce. I got all the colors. I got kind of natural bluegill, white, some more bluegill looking stuff. Some green pumpkin. Oh, that's a little bit of chartreuse. Kind of an open head with no skirt on it. So sometimes you want to throw a jackhammer or a chatterbait that has no skirt. Just want to throw a swim bait on the back of it. You can do that. Anyway, my whole jackhammer box. Keep it pretty well stocked. I actually don't go through that many jackhammers in a season, so I tend to have way more than I need. But anyway, that's the chatterbait box. Swim jigs. So here's my swim jig box. I essentially have it organized by size and color. So I believe this is all my quarter ounce jig heads. So quarter ounce swim jigs. These are 3/8, and I believe these are all half. And then actually I think I have lots of half. I actually don't throw that half that much. I mostly throw either 3/8 or quarter. Actually, quarter ounce and lighter swim baits heads are my favorite. So anyway, here's all my swim bait heads. Got lots of different colors, lots of different brands. As far as brands, there's a whole bunch of Outcast in here. There's some 6th Sense, some custom made ones. So it's kind of an assortment of custom mades, Outcast tackle. There's some dirty jigs in there as well. Kind of a swim jig is a swim jig in my opinion. I don't think you really need anything too fancy with swim jigs, but I like to play around and try different ones. Okay, this is my main jig box. Now, I have a lot more jigs than what's in here, but this is what I'm rolling with. I go from sizes. I go from lightest over to heaviest. So I have a whole bunch of Outcast and some custom Arky head baits over here. So this is basically all, I believe this is all 3/8. This gets into 3/8 and halves. And then down here, actually, I put some finesse ones. These are quarters. And then these are all half and 3/4. So you got 3/8, half, a couple 5/8. I think, yeah, 5/8, quarter. I don't know why I stuck this lighter ones over here just to kind of make them stand out. So these are like more finesse jigs. And then here's all the big jigs. These are all 3/4 to, I think there's a couple ouncers in here too. So various jig companies. I don't want to go through them all. This box is probably my favorite, topwater. So I'm a big topwater addict. I have a lot of topwater stuff. So there's a lot of goodies in here. These are the baits I'm going to be rolling with to start with the year. Up here I got the Megabass Explos prop baits. So Megabass Explos. Up here I got a Megabass X-Pod Junior with a iWake Darter, I think that is. I forgot what the name of this one is, but this is a really cool smallmouth bait. Edo, oh gosh, I forgot the name of this one. Sorry. If those are curious. Oh yeah, Prop Darter. God, I don't know why I couldn't remember that. But this is a chartreuse green Prop Darter. Megabass Prop Darter. Good smaller bait. Up here I got a big old iJack. So a big old bluegill looking iJack wake bait. So if I'm gonna throw wake bait. And then these three rows are all Pop Maxes, various colors. I got some Respect colors. I got some, I don't know. This is my favorite. If I had to pick one Pop Max color that I'm going to throw, it's always going to be White Python. If you don't have a White Python Pop Max, you need to get yourself one. I got a Bass color. This is one of the Bugs Cicadids. I forgot what they're called. And then I got a couple other limited edition colors that are mostly like green. There's a green camo and some other stuff. So anyway, these are all Pop Maxes. I throw out Pop Maxes. Over here is my Rio Ricos. So if you don't know what Rio Ricos are, they're another kind of high-end popper. Really, like super loud baits. Oop, hooked my finger. So my other favorite popper is a Rio Rico. It's the bigger Rico. I have these smaller Ricos here. So I basically go Pop Maxes, Rio Ricos, the regular Ricos, which are much smaller. So if you're ever wondering the difference between a Rio Rico and a regular Rico. So that's the regular Rico. That's the Rio. So these are smaller, more finesse baits. I'm sure that just hooked the blanket. You know, these are super sharp hooks. I've upgraded all the hooks on these poppers with better ones. And then also down here, I got a Megabass Pop X. So if I want to throw a smaller Megabass popper, I got the little Pop X there. That's really good on throwing on a spinning rod. Over here, this is my old faithful. I've had this lure for so many years. This Storm, come out, Chug Bug. Anyway, this Chug Bug is smashed and beat to hell. This is one of my favorite baits I've ever owned. I've had this for many years. This Chug Bug has seen some shit, but it's one of my favorite poppers. So I got to keep the old Chug Bug in the boat. So I got the Chug Bug. This is a bigger Megabass X-Pod. Now the X-Pods have the jaws that move. Oop. You can change, very springy. You can change the action of the X-Pod based on the mouth and how much you want to open it. So anyway, it's a topwater walking bait. Now while I'm on the topwater walking baits, that's what these are. These are all three different Megabass Diamantes. So I got different colors. This white pearl one is the one I throw the most, but I also got a natural looking, clear looking bluegill. And then obviously you need the big bright Fire Tiger. So I got three different color patterns for different situations. Muddy water, clear water, and then just kind of all around with the white. So I love the Diamante. I throw them a lot. Great baits. Over here got the little Whopper Plopper 90. This is mostly for river use or smallmouth fishing. And actually both of these are kind of smallmouth baits. This is the 6 Sense walking bait. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. I don't know what the hell this thing is called. I forget. You 6 Sense guys will be able to tell me in the comments, but I'd have to look it up. I don't remember. But every person who's fished a smallmouth, you need a big white pencil walking bait, spook style, and you need a small spook style bait. And a white Whopper Plopper never hurts either. So anyway, that's my top water box. Lots of goodies in there. Move that along. All right. So this is a thinner, this is the 3600 thin box I got with frogs and shower blows. So I'm a big frog guy. I love throwing frogs. Here's the frogs I'm rolling with this year. I got two in a dark and a light color Spro Bronzeye 65s. I got a couple Gantrel, Jackall Gantrel poppers. I got a whole bunch of, let's see, that's a Chimera frog, and then a couple of the Terminator Juniors. These are all Terminator Juniors. I got some more Chiras, and then these are the Megabass Big Gabbit. So these are the new frogs. Going to try them this year. And another Gantrel up there. So basically Jackall frogs, Terminator Juniors, Megabass, and Spro. And then obviously you got to have the Evergreen shower blows. These are allegedly the best pencil poppers ever made. I got the big size. This is the 155 or 165, I forget. 145, I don't know. The bigger one. Awesome color. So the shower blows. And I got two smaller shower blows, obviously for smallmouth duty. I think these are the 105s or something like that. But anyway, evergreen shower blows are kind of the deal pencil poppers. And then over here I got a Giant Dog X just because I didn't have another place to put it. But this is a Megabass Giant Dog. So that's what's going on in my other topwater box. Drop that down. All right, let's keep chugging along. Jerk baits. These are jerk baits I'm rolling with this year to start off. Rapala X Pop. I'm sorry, Rapala X. The X jerk baits. I don't know why. For some reason I'm blanking on this, but you know what I'm talking about. The Rapala X jerk baits. I don't really use these much, but these are the Shadow Rap Shad, Rapala Shadow Rap Shads. This is a mixture of smaller jerk baits. Let's see. It's a small KVD, and then there's some small rip stops. I basically use these for like crappie fishing, or if I'm catching really shallow, big panfish, stuff like that. So I don't really use these that much. These two bins are just full of Vision 110s and lots of different colors and styles. So Vision 110s. This is all Vision 110 plus ones right here. These are KVD jerk baits. I actually do like throwing the KVD jerk baits as well. So these are the KVDs. And then these two bins are all Jackall re-ranges. So Jackall re-range, Megabass, 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 Strike King KVDs, Rapala, Rapala, Rapala. So that's what's going on with the jerk baits. All right, cranks, mostly Megabass cranks, and I throw my deep divers in this one as well. So I got a bunch of Griffins, Griffin Fat, a bunch of deeper Griffins, deep diving Griffins, and over here I got Megabass. These are Deep X 100, 200, and 300s. So I have more Deep X's, but these are just the three I have kind of thrown in here for right now. So I got all the different depths for Deep X. Right here I actually have Spro Little Johns, which are really great flat-sided crankbaits. So whenever you need a flat side, I like to go with the Spro Little Johns. Got to have a couple Megabass S-cranks ready to go for square billing. These are the new Eye by Eye shads from Megabass. So these look real small and light, but they actually have those LBO weight transfer systems. So I'm going to try the Eye by Eye shads. Over here I got the Margaze, which is a really light twitch bait. So this is mostly this is more bait you throw on a spinning rod. Good for like bass, walleye, smallmouth. Just really nice lightweight. It's kind of like an equivalent to like Rapala Shad Rap. And over here I got my big selection of DT10s. I just don't really have another place to put all my DT10s, so I have a big section here. These are all just DT10s with upgraded hooks. And then I got a couple 5DXs. So if I do need to deep crank, I just kind of keep two 5DXs sitting around ready to go. If I have to go for some reason deeper than a DT10, which I don't normally ever crank deeper than a DT10, but if I do, I got those bad boys. All right. Let's go with the square bills. So this is my shallow crank box. I love square bills. These are my favorites. So I got Rapala BX Brats up here, DT4s, whole bunch of DT6s. I throw the DT6s probably the most. So I got DT6, DT6, DT6. And here is a hodgepodge of KVD. Oh, no, these are all KVD 1.5s. There's some more KVD 1.5s in here. There's a big BX Brat, one of the new ones. I want to throw that this year. It's a Lucky Craft Gill 1.5. And here these are all 6 cents square bills I want to try throwing this year. These are gosh, I forgot. These are the Mad Cow Bandits. So these are all Bandit 100s. I love this Mad Cow color. It's like a crappie color. It got discontinued, but I bought a bunch of them. And then here I got a bunch of my lipless cranks. So I mostly just throw Strike King Red Eye Shads for my lipless because I just kind of keep it simple. I don't throw lipless a lot, but I just kind of keep the Red Eye Shads for when it proves needed. All right, last box. This one I call just my Whopper Ploppers and Dark Sleepers, and there's a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff in here too. So I love Dark Sleepers. I kind of just keep them in a package. The best way for me to store Dark Sleepers is just keep them in the original packaging. Keeps them nice and straight. It's light. Kind of makes it a pain in the ass to store them, so I just have a whole row. So these are all Dark Sleepers, Dark Sleepers. Over here, I actually have some finesse football jigs, just because I don't really know where else to throw them, because these are really nice Nishini football jigs. Keep a selection of whopper ploppers. Here I got some spy baits. I actually kind of low on spy baits, but I don't use them that much, but here's my spy baits. When you're in Minnesota North Country, you got to have some jigging wraps on hand. So I keep jigging wraps around, because if you are walleye fishing and you're getting out of school, especially out deeper in Minnesota, you want to bust out the ice fishing lures to catch summertime walleye. And in here, I just got a bunch of split shot. You never know when you need some split shot. Here is all rings, split rings, some Carolina rig stuff down there. And then here's just a whole bunch of beads for Carolina rigging, snaps, swivels, crankbait snaps, all sorts of just other random hardware in that thing. And then you never know when you need an SD reader to like pop a mapping chip into a laptop. So I always keep one of those extra laying around. So that's kind of my miscellaneous box. Whopper ploppers. All right. So I love throwing football jigs, but there's only a handful of lakes that we go fish where you really need a good football jig. So I basically have a whole bin full of just 3/8. Wow. Okay. These are basically all 3/8 football jigs and some bigger ones. These are some halves or 3/4. So anyway, this is all football jigs. I keep them in their own bin because I don't always throw football jigs, so I don't usually always have this box in the boat. But when I'm going to a lake where I know I want football jigs, I grab this guy. So football jig dedicated box. Let's see, last but not least, all my weights and terminal tackle. I already went through how I organize this box in one of my previous videos. So if you want to check that out, go into my history. You can see how I do all my terminal tackle. I'm not going to go through all that. But this is essentially all my weights, shaky heads, drop shot stuff, and some various like underspins and some other random stuff in there. So all my heavy terminal stuff goes in this bulletproof Bass Mafia box. So the last thing I have is this weird little Northland box. Now in this, I keep, for when we go to super rocky lakes way up in northern Minnesota that eat a lot of drop shot weights, I keep a whole bunch of lead, cheap Chinese drop shot weights for when we go up to lakes like Lake Vermilion, Capitogama, Pelican, some of those lakes up north in Minnesota that have very, very, very rocky bottoms, but drop shots work great. I throw a lot of lead because I can lose them and break them off and not cry about it, because I have like literally bags of these things laying around. So this is also a bunch of my walleye tackle. I keep a lot of moon eye jigs, fireball jigs, Northland underspins. So this is like walleye tackle, some extra 1/4 ounce jig heads if I'm throwing paddle tails around places where I know I'm probably going to lose the jig heads. I use these cheap Cabela's ones. So anyway, this box kind of just floats around my boat. Got walleye stuff if I need it. Cheap throwaway drop shot weights if I need it. But anyway, that's kind of it. That's what's going on in my boat. Start to 2020 season. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, anything you don't like, whatever, just throw a comment down in the comments. I'd be happy to reply to it. Other than that, see you till the next video.